Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, I want to walk through the strategy that I used today to find my entry on Microsoft pre-market, making a plan, using the technical analysis, looking for the break and retest on Microsoft to find my entry and to ride this thing higher. Today, hitting new all-time highs again. As you guys know, Microsoft has been incredibly strong, pushing all-time highs, pulling back yesterday, and it pulled back to a key level on the chart. And when I saw that, it aligned with this strategy, and I went ahead and I took this position. So I want to walk through this trade, share with you guys the details. Hopefully you guys will see how I took this and how you can use this strategy in other positions. After we talk about Microsoft, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this exact same setup on multiple stocks today that you could have used and you could have played to the upside. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Most important, press the bell down below so that you guys know when I post and you guys know every single time that I go live. All right, guys, so if you've been watching my channel, you know that the break and retest is a staple in my trading. This is something that I look for on a daily basis, looking for pullbacks to previous levels, breaking previous resistance, coming back, acting as support, taking the trade off of that support, and looking for that upside. This trade setup accounts for so many of my trades, and it happens so much in this market. And if you just focus in and you really look for just this one thing, I guarantee you will find it quite a bit intraday. And as you practice, as you gain experience with this strategy, you'll start to see some really great results and you'll start to trust this analysis. This type of strategy has a very good risk to reward because you're having stops below the previous lows where you get in and you have the upside to play. I'm going to go ahead and visually show you how I set this up today on Microsoft. One of a great trade today on Microsoft. So let's go ahead and show this. So on your screen, you are going to be looking at the daily chart on Microsoft, right? Microsoft to some may look like it's getting away, right? Where do I get in? How do I trade this stock as it's pushing higher? Where am I finding an entry as this stock continues higher? Where's a good place to get in, right? And today was a great entry on Microsoft. So if you missed this move, we first had a beautiful pullback close to the 100 SMA, back towards this gap fill, filled the gap, and we pushed higher, right? On the 18th, so about 4 days ago, what is that, 4 days ago, 21st, for about 4 days ago, we went ahead and we pushed through all-time highs on Microsoft. So we got that all-time high breakout. Now, what we did today was we pulled back and we found support back at that previous all-time high. So let me go ahead, break this down and show you what we're looking at here. So we're going to go ahead and go down to the 4-hour chart here, guys. And the 4-hour chart is going to show us where we can look for that break and retest on Microsoft, right? So the previous highs on Microsoft were right around here, around 306. You guys can see that. Highs here, previous resistance. Very clear here on the 4-hour. Resistance, right? So we know 306 was a previous resistance level. Now, we broke through it, and what do you want to wait for a strong, a strong entry on Microsoft? Do you want to chase this thing past all-time highs, or do you want to wait for a pullback and get that better entry? That is where this break and retest is so powerful. So you guys can see you have the previous resistance, you draw your little demand zone, and you look to see, can Microsoft pull back to that demand zone over the next few days? So that is what I was waiting for after seeing Microsoft push through these all-time highs. Now, what you can see, yesterday, we had a little bit of a weak day on the market, and what you'll notice is Microsoft pulled right back to that previous all-time high right here at 306. If you guys are on the pre-market live stream, I know probably some of you are, we talked just about this entry in the pre-market and how this could be a potential trade setup, and it worked out beautifully. So you can see the pullback. If we go down to the 5-day 15, you can see here, this was our previous all-time high. On Tuesday, we pushed up. Yesterday on Wednesday, look at the pullback here to the previous all-time high. Look at how we respected that level here. We're going to zoom in even more. Here's the 5-minute chart yesterday. This is yesterday right here, and this is today, right? So look at that respect that Microsoft had there at the previous all-time high. Look at how it pulled back, bounced off of it, and today we got the very nice push. Now, how do you set up a trade like this? How do you set up, once you see that retest, how is your setup going to work out here, right? So how I personally do this is I put a stop loss below the lows, right? So today, this morning, I went ahead and I got into a Microsoft November 19th 310 call for $5.32. I had a stop below $306. I know that if Microsoft drops back below that low, drops below that retest zone, my trade is now invalidated. What I love about taking that potential entry is that when you get in there towards that low, towards that retest level, this actually sets up a fantastic risk to reward, right? So your risk on a trade like this, if you get in the morning, we got in at 9:33 a.m. So about 3 minutes after open, we went ahead and got into this trade. Now, my entry, let's say I get in around 306. My stop loss is very small, right? So it's just about this. This is my stop on this trade. Here is my risk that I have on this trade. So right here, this is my risk. If I get in here, I go in with a comfortable position size, something that I'm willing to lose, come in here with a tight stop below this low, and that gives me the confidence to get into a trade like this because one, I have a strict stop loss that aligns with the technical levels, and two, I position size around this stop, and if I'm wrong, which I definitely could be, then I don't lose that much. I lose a small percent of my portfolio. So I really like an entry here because you have the previous retest, as you guys can see, back on the 4-hour, retest level here at 306, previous highs turning into support, and we have that very nice support hold here in the morning on Microsoft at 306. Now, your reward on a trade like this is back towards these highs, right? If you get a nice move on Microsoft, you trade this thing back towards the highs, and you guys can see today, we went in the after hours, we went up to around 313. Obviously pulled back since then, but the close of today was right around here, around 311. So right there is your risk to reward, and that's a great risk to reward. I mean, that's like a 5-6 to 1 risk to reward on a trade like this, and setting up that trade around that break and retest, that previous high, turning it into support is such a powerful way to be looking at these charts, and that is how I found my trade today on Microsoft. I'll go ahead and pop up my P&L for the trade right now. I took November's because I definitely see upside on Microsoft in the coming weeks. Of course, we have some earnings drama going on in the after hours right now with Snapchat, but I definitely think that Microsoft is strong here. I love how it retested off these lows and pushed higher off of it. Retested the previous highs and bounced off of it. And this is literally the only thing, one of the only things that I look for on a daily basis. Looking for these break and retests. This one was a beautiful one. And now at this point, guys, I'm in such a good entry on Microsoft that I really don't need to stress. My break even is probably back down here towards 306. So if it pulls back, it pulls back. I can go ahead and monitor this trade. I can relax. I can see how Microsoft does over the next few days. If it continues to move higher, then I sit back, I relax on my November contracts with a very strong entry, entering this position on that break and retest where those previous highs were and going ahead and letting this thing ride out. So I hope you guys sort of see that technical analysis that I did here in the morning. I do it on the pre-market live stream, so make sure to come hang out. If you don't want to do this yourself, you can come hang out in the pre-market live streams because I show these every day. So here was the beautiful entry right here today on Microsoft. It makes a lot of sense in hindsight. You can see 1, 2 previous resistance, perfect break and retest, and there is your entry there, and there is the push on Microsoft. Now, I want to go ahead and show you an exact same formation, exact same setup on a few other stocks today to sort of prove to you that this happens quite a bit on the market and that you can definitely use this strategy in your trading. All right, guys, so on your screen, this is the 4-hour chart on NVIDIA. And of course, the break and retests are not always going to be perfectly clean. There's going to be some times where it may be a little bit hard to see. NVIDIA is a good example. It's not as clean as Microsoft, where it's just those clear all-time highs. But this one is a great break and retest as well today on NVIDIA at $220. That was the key level. Now, why 220? So what you guys can see, back in September, you see this resistance that came onto NVIDIA. Support that came into NVIDIA right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bounced off of it multiple times in this area right here. I'll go ahead and circle it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. look at all the support that came in here on NVIDIA. Every single time it came back to 220, it bounced off of it. So I know in my head, that is a previous retest level. Now, our previous support level, you can see we gave it up. We started to chop around a little bit, and ultimately we failed, right? But now, in the recent trend, we've been starting to move higher. I'm in an NVIDIA swing trade already, so I didn't take this today. I've been in NVIDIA since the 14th of October, which is back here. So I've been in a nice ride here on NVIDIA. You guys probably already know that. But today, we went ahead and we talked about this in the live stream. Of course, in the Discord chat, we also post these charts every day, right? So here's this morning at 9:02. NVIDIA 220 break and retest, SC as well, break and retest. So we post these every morning. And this was a beautiful one. So what you guys can see, if we break this down to the 5-minute chart, you will see that, let me go to the 15, sorry. Here's the 15-minute chart. You guys can see we broke through it. We pulled back to it yesterday. And this morning, look at the reaction off this break and retest, 220. Look at the instant reaction, instant upside that we saw in NVIDIA today after breaking the 220, pulling back to that previous support, previous resistance, turning it into support, and boom, you get your push higher. This is, again, just another beautiful break and retest, break, retest, entry on the retest, play that thing higher. Don't chase the breakout, wait for the retest, and that is your entry, and that is a beautiful trade on NVIDIA. I have one more example for you guys, so let's go ahead and jump into that now. All right, guys, so this one is good. It's not great. It worked out, and it definitely gave you a good trading opportunity intraday, but this is another example here for you. So SE, C Limited, ticker symbol SE, had a previous high at $360 a share, right? So right here, you guys can see 360 was a previous resistance point. This was a previous high on the stock. Now, we saw that breakout here on this was on Tuesday. We got the Tuesday breakout. We got the Wednesday pullback to that retest level, and you can see today we got a little bit of a sympathy move off of it. So if I zoom in, you guys can see on Tuesday we got the breakout. On Wednesday we got the harsh pullback, and look at where SC for the most part held up. Right here around 360, we went ahead and found some consolidation at this 360 retest level. And as we approached this morning, this pre-market, what you guys will notice is we went ahead, we held that 360, that previous retest level, and we bounced off of it. A decent move today, not the biggest move. We didn't get a large move here. But if you were to enter here off this 360 retest, this was the previous high from back here on September 7th. We pushed through it. We broke that 360. We pulled back to it yesterday. And today we had a very nice hold of that level. Of course, if this is a swing trade, SC could continue here off 360. And if you are in this trade, as long as SC holds above 360, or you can even give it these previous lows here, then you are okay, and you can sit in this trade and see if it can hold that retest level. So I hope this makes a little sense, guys. To recap real quick, Microsoft was the big one today. A very clear trade. It was, in hindsight, you can look at this thing and say, wow, that makes a lot of sense. When I look at this trade, not even that I'm in it. If I wasn't in it, I would say the same thing, right? You have previous highs. You pull back to the previous highs. You hold the previous highs as support. That is resistance turning into support. And there is nothing more bullish than that type of formation. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something from it. This is primarily the strategy that I've been using, and it has been working. So hopefully you guys can learn it. You can try to find these trades by yourself. I know a lot of you guys, if you're watching this from the Discord, a lot of you guys have been finding these strategies. Robin, shout out to you. You pointed out a lot of these this morning. So awesome strategy, awesome use of it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this video, sharing with you guys how I found that entry today on Microsoft, looking for those break and retests. Now, of course, this type of setup, this type of technical setup is not going to show up every single day. You're going to have to be patient. And when you see breakouts, you're not going to you can't react to it. You can't YOLO into positions because the stock is breaking out. You are going to have to be the one that stays patient and waits for the pullback. As this thing starts to pull back, as people start to panic out of it, the people that bought the breakout, you are going to be the one that goes ahead and catches that dip off of the previous high, off the retest level, and you play it back to the upside. In the long run, I think you're going to be the one that actually takes the trade for a larger profit versus the person that trades it for the breakout. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Hopefully you understand it. If you have any questions, drop them down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, press the like button, subscribe to the channel, press the bell notification as well before you head out. And if you guys want to see the Instagram live that me and Matt Diamond did today, make sure to go check it out on his Instagram profile. It is under his IGTV. We went ahead and did a live stream together today. A lot of good questions, a lot of educational content. So make sure to go ahead and check that out. With all that said, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.